Hi Yogis! Welcome back to Honeybee Yoga Studio, where we share yoga classes for all levels as well as yoga knowledge. So if that sounds like your thing, please hit the subscribe button below. We post 2 new videos every week, and check us out on Instagram and Facebook for more content. Thanks so much for joining for another stretch and restore, where we'll enjoy some gentle stretching through our hips and our back, and then take a heart-opening restorative posture. Please take as much time as you need in our final posture and enjoy the bliss if you happen to fall asleep. In my restorative classes, we hold these postures for up to 15 minutes, so please don't be shy. You can see I have some props with me. You can use anything from around the house, maybe pillows, cushions, towels, or blankets. And today we're also going to need something to act as a strap, so maybe a belt or a long scarf. Let's begin on our knees. You can slide a pillow or a cushion between your thighs, and that can provide a little bit of relief for your hips or your knees. We will be hanging out in this kneeling posture for a little bit, so please do what feels good for you. We'll allow our bodies to come to stillness and start to drift away from the outside world and start to come into our practice, into this moment. Feel your breath as it travels into your nose, your mouth, as it goes down your throat. Feel that breath expand your chest, expand your belly. Feel those hips, your sit bones maybe get heavy and start to sink towards your heels. And release our exhale, slow and controlled. We'll keep this connection to our breath and allow our breath to guide the pace of our movements. We'll eventually start to allow our fingertips to make their way towards the floor, right beside our hips, and with one of our next inhales, we're going to start to invite some movement through those arms. As we inhale, reaching our fingertips up to the sky, and then exhaling our arms wide, 90 degrees at our elbows. Inhaling those hands, forearms, and elbows together in front of our torso, and then exhaling our fingertips back to the earth. Let's do that again. Inhaling tall, exhaling wide. Inhaling those hands, forearms, elbows to touch, and then exhaling our fingertips to the floor. We'll do that one more time, bringing space through our shoulders, our chest. As we bring those hands and elbows together, we feel space through our spine. And then release those fingertips. We're going to move into some shoulder openings here. Let's grab that strap, or maybe we're using a belt or a long scarf. And we're going to clasp our hands around the strap, reaching forward, keeping our hands about shoulder distance apart, maybe a little bit wider than shoulder distance. And again, using our breath, as we inhale, we're going to reach our hands tall, keeping that belt or that strap tight between our hands, and then releasing them back towards our knees. We'll shimmy our hands a little bit further apart, and then lift our hands in that strap above our head once again. So moving slow and controlled, feeling some warmth come through our shoulders, maybe through our shoulder blades, maybe through our triceps, our biceps. And just kind of greasing that joint, our shoulder joint. Taking a nice stretch, maybe holding in whatever way feels good for you. Maybe it feels great to reach forward or to reach tall. And eventually, as those arms get wider and wider, maybe it feels good to release that strap all the way down to your low spine, going in almost 360 degrees. Again, listening to your body and only doing what feels good for your shoulders. So maybe it just feels good to reach tall. Maybe it feels good to, have those hands move a little bit behind your shoulders. There's no pressure here to go all of the way around. Doing what feels good. We'll take one more full breath to reach our fingertips all the way up to the sky. as far as feels good for us. And then as we exhale, we'll release our hands one final time all the way down and release that strap. We can place our strap to the side, and we'll reach our fingertips all the way up to the sky, and we'll take a gentle stretch to reach to one side, and then stretch to the opposite side. Feel our side bodies begin to open and feel some space. Maybe coming back one side to the other. And eventually our hands will release and come to our low spine. We can clasp those fingertips together and then pull our hands towards the earth. Feel those shoulders open, our chest open. And then eventually we're going to start to melt until our forehead comes all the way down towards the earth. In our version of rabbit, you can keep your hands at your low spine, or you can see here releasing your hands towards your heels. Maybe your arms go heavy by your side. Whatever feels good for you. For me, I prefer to have my hands just simply resting on my low spine. Gives a little bit of ease into my shoulders. Taking a few breaths. Again, listening to what our breath has to tell us. And when it says it's ready for some more movement, we'll start to lift tall. Coming back through our neutral kneeling posture, let's walk those fingertips forward and come into our version of tabletop. You can maybe have those hands a little bit forward than they usually are. Maybe tuck those toes, give your soles of your feet a little bit of a stretch. And then let's step our right foot up towards our right hand. We're going to enjoy a low lunge for several breaths. So taking whatever variation of a low lunge feels good for you, so you can feel a stretch through your left hip flexor, but feel stability and support through your right. You'll see that right knee of mine likes to hang out above its heel. We're supporting our hips kind of like they're a hammock between both of our knees, like our knee is the tree and our hips are the hammock, just kind of swaying between. Maybe it feels better to bring your fingertips to the earth. Maybe it feels good to reach your fingertips to the sky. Maybe it feels good to grab a support next to you and lift the earth closer to your hands. As long as that hip feels supported, that's what matters. Wherever we are in our version of low lunge, we'll hang out for one more breath. And then slowly we'll begin to come back towards our version of tabletop, gently stepping that right knee back behind us. And then we'll step that left foot forward. So again, we're coming into a shape that feels good for our body. So listening to what that front knee has to say, what our back knee has to say, our hips, and just letting them sink forward as far as feels good. Grabbing a hold of any of our props, maybe a pillow to help bring the earth closer to our fingertips. Whatever feels good, and just hanging out, letting those hips sink and sway for a few breaths. Let's take one more full breath. Feel that crown of your head lifting to the sky. And then as you exhale, we'll bring our hands towards the earth beside that left foot. And we're going to then walk those fingertips on the long edge of our mat. So we're coming towards our malice squat. So you can see I'm moving my heels to be a little bit wider than hip distance apart. My toes are splayed outwards, and I'm going to start to sink those hips, that sit bone, towards the earth. You can see I grabbed my bolster here and slid it underneath my sit bones. If the earth is too far away, that's a great alternative. You get just as many benefits supporting your body. Hanging out here for a couple breaths, and then if we have a bolster there, we're going to begin to slide it out from underneath us as our hands come behind us. And we're going to let our knees begin to fold all the way to the left side. That right knee comes towards the right edge of my mat. My left knee comes towards the left side. You'll see that front left leg is kind of in a modified pigeon pose. Let's reach that left hand to come to the small of our back. Our right hand reaches tall, bends at the elbow, and comes to the nape of our neck. And those hands slowly inchworm together along our spine. Those elbows are splaying wide. We feel space through our chest, our heart, opening through our thighs and our hips. After one more big breath, we'll release our arms wide before they come back behind our bodies so we can lean backwards and peel those legs to move to the opposite side. So this time that left knee is splaying to one side. We're in our kind of modified pigeon. And this time that left hand reaches tall, bends to the nape of our neck. That right arm reaches behind us. And maybe our fingertips inchworm together along our spine. Once again, those elbows are splaying wide. Our heart is open. Our chest is spacious. Big breath before we release our arms, bringing those hands back behind us so that we can splay those knees wide, bring the soles of our feet together, and come to meet in our version of butterfly. With our feet together and our knees wide, we can keep the crown of our head reaching up to the sky, or if you'd like, as you exhale, beginning to slowly melt forward. You can come all of the way forward. You can keep your arms long, supporting your body, whatever feels good for you. Let's take one full breath before we begin to lift tall. Bring those hands back behind us for one final big stretch through our heart and our chest. And we'll eventually make our way back through a neutral seated position, and we're going to set ourselves up for our version of a heart opening pose. I'm going to place my blanket close by so it can keep me nice and warm. I have two sizes of my bolster here. I have my big one and my little one. I'm gonna pick my little guy to come underneath my back, and that's what's going to open my heart. So I'm going to swing my legs over my big bolster. I'm gonna let my calves rest atop my big bolster. I'm gonna make sure my little bolster behind me, or maybe a rolled towel or pillow, is going to come to just below my shoulder blades. Ladies, maybe behind where your bra strap may be. So I'm going to slowly lower myself, feel that spine supported by my bolster beneath me. I'm going to grab my blanket, and this fire is mighty toasty, so I'm just going to have my blanket lay atop my hips for a little bit of support. And then as I exhale, I'm going to release the back of my head. My shoulders come into the earth. My arms are wide, and you can see that bolster is opening my heart quite generously. As I hang out here, I feel my toes reaching up to the sky. My shins are supported by the other bolster or pillow or cushion. I feel my heart opening and my spine melting into the bolster. Let's come back to our breath and see how it feels as it travels through our body in this shape. As you inhale, feel that breath once again travel either through your nose or your mouth, down your throat, and feel it come into your chest and your belly. As your chest expands, feel that bolster or support beneath you as it presses into your back body. Your front body, your heart opens. Feel all of that space through your rib cage. Feel your belly expand. And then as you exhale, feel every muscle begin to release its tension as your back body melts into your bolster. Begin to imagine maybe a light, a soft light that's just behind your heart. With each breath, each inhale, that soft light begins to grow and expand. That flame, as it begins to grow, begins to also bring warmth. Feel that warmth begin to spread out from your heart, across your chest, your belly. Feel it come through your shoulders, your hips. Feel it travel down your arms and your legs, your spine. Feel that warmth come to your jaw, soft, your mouth. Your lips may be together, but your teeth are apart. And feel that warmth settle all the way to the crown of your head. Taking our time, one of our next inhales will bring some movement through our wrists, our ankles, our toes, our fingertips. Take any movements through your knees or your elbows. Eventually, we'll bring a bend into our knees. The soles of our feet come into the earth. We'll feel ourselves roll to our favorite side so we can gently support ourselves as we lift up and close our practice in whatever gentle seated posture feels good for us to take a couple breaths. Feeling stillness one more time come through our body. We'll close our practice with 3 big breaths, those fingertips coming to the earth beside our hips. And when we're ready, we'll inhale those fingertips up towards the sky, and then exhale our fingertips gently to the sides, wide, back to the earth. We'll take 2 more breaths at our pace, inhaling tall and exhaling wide. On our next breath, maybe our gaze will come up to meet our hands above our head in prayer, and let those hands melt past your forehead, your mouth, your throat, and settle at your heart. And take a big breath to close your practice. Thanks again for joining me this evening. I hope you feel relaxed, released, ready to have an amazing night's sleep. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, let me know what you thought, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Bye.